Alright, welcome to the third video of Basic Hangul. The first was, of course, consonants, the second was vowels, and now we're going to kind of learn how to build a word and the basic rules behind Korean language and sentence building. So what we're going to do here is kind of look at the word order. Korean is different from English in the way of syntax, so they have a subject, object, verb language structure. English has like a subject, verb, object language structure. So when I say I do homework in English, I'm saying the subject, which is I, the verb, which is do, and the object, which is homework. But as you can see here, in Korean, it goes subject, I, object, homework, verb, do. So verb is always going to be at the end. So I, homework, do. It sounds a very, I don't know, unfamiliar way of speaking. Even in English, that sounds crazy to me. But when I think about it in Korean, it makes so much more sense to say it like that. So it'll become a lot easier to understand things like that. But at first, it's a crazy transition because you've learned your whole life this certain word order, and it's the way that you speak just naturally. And for you to just change that it's kind of a difficult process. But we'll work together and we'll figure it out. So in the book, John plays tennis with Mary at school is the example sentence. And while I feel like that's a tough sentence for a very, very beginner, we'll just kind of work through it together. So John is the subject, obviously. Tennis is the object, and plays is the verb. So John tennis plays. So with Mary would be where then? And it's kind of like they're just kind of wanting to explain to you that it's a free word order, so it can go almost anywhere. So when you're saying things in Korean, as long as you have your verb at the end of the sentence, your subject pretty much should be in the beginning. You can put your with Mary pretty much anywhere. And so that's a really nice option to have when you're trying to build sentences. Of course, there is like a natural way to do it, and you do understand that the more you are introduced with that language, but still, it's just nice that you can put it anywhere and it's pretty much okay. So also in the book, it explains that's a situation-oriented language. And so basically that just means you don't need everything. So if you think of like a caveman kind of talks, that's kind of the way that you're gonna talk in Korean, which is actually really, really, really comfortable, I guess. It's like so much more convenient because you're not using all these things, all these extra words and all these extra suffixes and things like that that you don't really need. Like it's very down to the bones, very easy. So at least in the beginning, like if you are to say like where are you going in English, you end up just saying where go in Korean, and it's so easy, right? Like that makes sense. If you went up to someone, they were walking somewhere, and you were like where go, like it would be weird, but they could understand what you're saying. And so why do you really need all that information? Like obviously you're talking to that person, so you're meaning them, right? So you don't need you. And going, like you don't really need to say like that because go is good enough. It's, easy enough. And then are, I mean, why do we even say are? It just means it's just more of the present, right? So we already have that with the ing and actually with the go because that's self-explanatory, really. So you really don't need those things. We just kind of have them in English. So it's kind of nice that Korean just kind of has very bare bones, like where go. And so how you would say that is odi is where, and kayo is go. So kada is go. And like if you look in the dictionary, you're gonna see ta at the very end of a verb stem. So kada is to go, but ka is really the verb. And that's just so that you can conjugate them later on with different things. But the verb stem, ka, if you add it with yo, then that is the polite form of saying go. So 어디 가요 is politely saying, where are you going? If you want to say, like, I'm hungry, you can say 배고파요. 요, of course, being the polite form. So 배고파요 is I'm hungry. I'm not saying I am hungry. 저는 저 is the polite form of I. I'm just saying hungry. Or you could do that with sleepy. Or you could do that with anything because you don't need to say I am because it's redundant because we all know you're talking about you. Because I'm not going to be like, you're hungry. That's weird. Basically, honorifics are extremely difficult, I feel like, to an English speaker because we don't really have these things. Like, we don't really have honorifics that I can really think of. Of course, you change the way you talk depending on whom you're talking with. So if you're talking with someone like, let's say, the President of the United States or something, you're going to talk in a much different way than if you're talking to a toddler or something like that. Like, we have that distinction. We also have the distinction where if you're talking to like really smart person, you'll be using different words than if you're talking with someone like just a regular friend. We have that distinction. So we have certain distinctions, yes, but do we have honorifics? I don't know. I don't think so. So it's a little bit different of a concept because we really don't have it. So basically, I feel like when you're a beginner, all you really need to know about honorifics is that it's a thing. And so if you're watching a drama or something like that and all of a sudden it's all Greek to you, like you were understanding some words here and there, but now you can't even understand the word eat, or now you can't even understand the word meal, it's because there are different words for these very basic things. They're just honorific. They're like very, very high status people you talk to, or like very, very elderly people that you're talking to. Then you would use these very humble words and you would honor them by using these words. But really, as a beginner, you're not going to need to use these words. And even if you meet someone very, 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 very old, they're going to completely understand that as a beginner, you probably will not be able to honor them so much as using honorifics. So really, all you need to know is that yes, they have different words. So eat is different if you're going to talk regularly or honorific. And let's see, and conjugation is going to be different depending on your person you're talking to. So later on, you'll understand that the conjugation, the honorific conjugation, is actually pretty important because it kind of distinguishes who you're talking about, this person or yourself, in some different contexts. But for now, you really just need to realize that there is a difference between honorifics and speaking regularly. So hand in hand with honorifics, of course, is pronouns. So when you're talking to someone else, but you're talking about yourself, you want to use 저. So you may see na a lot because that's the plain form of I, but you want to use 저. You're using yo at the end of your sentence for, being polite, and yo is very middle ground. Like, you're not going to use it with your really, really close friends, but with people that you don't know very well, or with higher up, or, basically it's just a free for all. You can use it whenever. Even if you use it with your friends, they're not going to be super weirded out because you're new to the language anyways, you're a foreigner, so it all just works. It's really just a safe ground using yo at the end of your sentences. So if you use yo, you have to continue this sentence with a humble beginning, which is 저. You can't use na and then end with yo because that doesn't match up. Down here, we have my. So we used I, 저, I. Now we're looking at 제, which is my, and that is humble as well. So you want to use 제, not 내. If you use 내, then of course you can't end with yo because that is a plain form. So you'd be saying like to your friend. So let's just take a random example. 모자 is hat. If I said 내 모자, then I'm definitely not talking to someone of a higher status or something like that. It's definitely going to be implied that I'm talking to someone who is lower status or like a friend who I'm very close with. 네. So if I use 제 모자, then I'm basically implying that I'm talking to someone of a higher status or someone I don't know very well, so I would be using 제. So that's just the difference between my and my. And so basically you just want to stick with the humble, the honorifics, 제. So the last pronoun is going to be 우리 or 저희, which is our. 우리 is, of course, plain. 저희 is humble. So you're going to want to use 저희, which is humble. You won't hear 저희 so much as 우리 because 우리 is used so much. Even if you go to Korea, there's something called 우리 bank and 우리은행, but 우리 bank is the bank actually I bank with, and people, foreigners, always tell me it's called worry bank. It makes me laugh so hard because like they see it as like worry. So anyway, so then you explain it as like worry because WOORI. So most people think of it as worry bank. So they'll be like, what bank do you bank with? And I'm like, oh, Uri Bank. And they're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then I have to say like, oh, worry bank. Like who wants a bank called worry? Like that's not good. But anyways. So as you can see, you're going to want to use 저희 because that's humble with a yo at the end. So it's interesting in Korean because everything is like collective, everything is like family, everything is so close knit, and it's been kind of a very seclusive nation, I guess, for such a very long time. It's only opened up in the last 50 years at the most, I think. So everything is still spoken of as ours. Things like my class, we would say in English like my class, blah, blah, blah. They say our class. My school is our school. My mom is even our mom. So now we can kind of focus on the syllable block building, which is the funnest part. I know it looks like a whole convoluted mess right here, but it really is really fun when you get down to it and you start making words and then those words turn into sentences. This is just the very beginning of that process. So these are 4 systems of how you build a syllable block. So when you think about a word, you have to think about it in a sense of syllables in order to build that word. So let's take Kim, for example. Kim can be meaning seaweed, gold. It's usually the last name of many, many Koreans. There's like a saying about Namsan Tower. If you've heard of Namsan Tower, my teacher was telling me that Korean people say that if they throw a rock off a Namsan Tower, it'll definitely hit a Kim because there's just so many people with Kim as the last name that their odds are very good of hitting a Kim with a rock. Don't ask me why they're hitting Kims with rocks, but that's just what they said. So anyways, so it's going to be consonant, vowel, consonant. C, of course, it's consonant. V is vowel. So you can also have another consonant on the bottom. But the most important thing that you need to realize is that it's a consonant, vowel, consonant system. You'll never have anything but a consonant in the beginning. As we can see here, it's going to be consonant, vowel, consonant, or consonant, vowel, consonant, or consonant, vowel, vowel, consonant. But, you know, you can see that there's never a vowel starting off the system. There can be, you know, only vowels after the consonant or a mix of both. So you can't really rule those out. But let's just kind of start here with how to build a few of these. So we looked at consonant, vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel, consonant. Okay, well, let's Romanize it with the new system. Okay, there we go. There was a new system implemented, and I believe in 2000 or something. It took over the last Romanization system, which was McCune-Reischauer, which I had to do all my college work in. So now I'm all confused on how it's all Romanized. So there may be some mistakes here and there about Romanization because in my college years we did McCune-Reischauer, and now I see a lot of the new Romanization implementation everywhere. So I'm trying my best to keep it all straight, but they keep changing things. So anyways, so it's going to be G-I-M, Kim, G-I-M. So you have here consonant, vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel, consonant. Okay? So the next one we're going to look at is 돈. 돈 is money. What we have here with the quotations is just how you would say it. The best way I feel like I can put it in English where it would sound correct if you were just to read it and say it, and then a Korean person would be like, okay, yeah, you said it. Like, I understand what you're saying. If you put this, a lot of people would say don, right? But don and ton don't sound the same at all. So I'm trying to have you understand what it actually sounds like. So consonant, vowel, consonant we have, and consonant, vowel, consonant is right here. T-O-N, C-V-C. So next one, consonant, vowel, vowel, consonant, consonant, H, vowel, vowel, E, consonant, N. So hin, and that's the same, the way you say it is the same as it's like Romanized. And lastly, we have consonant, vowel, vowel. So we have the placeholder, o and e, which was we, right here. If you remember, that means like why. So these are your basic consonant, vowel, syllable blocks on how you make it. So, okay, so you can see here the first and second system are both consonant, vowel, consonant. But why is this one consonant, vowel, consonant and this one consonant, vowel, consonant? I know I'm confusing you, but just stick with me, or try to at least. So that is because of these vowels. If you look at these vowels, these, like this vowel right here is a long vowel. So it's going to be on the side. So if you have kim, or if you have, let's see, chim, you will always have consonant, vowel, consonant like this, because this is a long, like a longer vertical vowel. In or on, it doesn't really matter, because these are all your longer vowels. So they're going to be in this first system of being side by side, because you want to make it nice and cute and small. So if you had the long vowels going this way, it would be a really long syllable block, and it'd just look ugly, and it wouldn't match, and it wouldn't look good, and it's just not what Sejong intended when he created Hangul. But anyways, okay, so this next system right here, you can see that it's not a long one. You know, it's like a more horizontal one. So whether it be ton or, I don't know, chum, which is dance, you have like the other side, right? O, u, or you still have uyu is milk, and you would be using it this way. So you don't have to end with a consonant as well, let me just say. You can just have it like that. As long as you have consonant vowel, you can end the syllable block. But just know that if it's going to be like a horizontal one, you're going to want this second system. I know it's kind of difficult right now, but don't worry, it'll get easier. Okay. So let's take this for example. We'll do a couple of them, and then I'll have you do a couple of them. So I already wrote that one in, so that's really great. Okay, so 사람, 사람 is like 2 syllables. 사람. So 사람 is person. So 사람, 사람, S-A-R-A-M, 사람. 김치, 김치, kimchi is 2 syllables. So you have 2 blocks, kimchi. The next one, 갈비. Go ahead and try it yourself. Pause the video and then come back and see if you got it correct. Okay, I assume you paused the video and you did it. So it's going to be G-A-L-B-I. 갈비. And it should be like that. Okay, 강아지. 강아지 is 3 syllables. So go ahead and try that on your own. Okay, so it's 강아지. 강아지. So let's do it kind of backwards. So let's look at this. We have placeholder, so no sound, and then ah. So let's type ah. M, A, like, well, E, but like as a sound is right? M, and this is an LR. So if there's not two of these, it's probably going to be an R. So let's do R, and an I. Oh, I. This is like E basically, but when you're romanizing it, it usually ends up I right here. Well, it always ends up I. And then we have, whoa, not Amber, go back. And then we have K, A. So this would be America. And this is how it would be romanized in order to spell it this way. So America, America, America. And actually they don't say America, they say 미국. Whoa. 미국 for America. This is just like how you would spell it, romanizing it, but this is how they actually say it, 미국. They don't usually say America. So mi is actually means beautiful, and 국 is country. So it means beautiful country. My dog is scratching her face. Honey. So this one's a little bit more tricky, so we'll do this one together, and then I'll have you do the next one. This is an S. S. And this is not something that we typically need because it's really there for a sound that English has, but Korean kind of omits, I guess, when they speak. So we're just going to omit this part. Otherwise, it would be like this. It would be EU for this line, but we'll just omit it for now and use the next one, which is a T, and then omit that one because it's just, we don't really need it. We naturally say it when we say words. And then this is one of these, not two, so it's going to be an R. This would be an E, and this is going to be an S. So having this is not going to help you. So we're just going to omit that too. So what this ends up being is stress. So like stress, like that kind of stress, it's stress. Stress. Okay, and then the next one, go ahead and try on your own. Okay, I assumed you paused it, you tried it, woohoo! So it's going to be M-A-S-K, mask. Mask. Go ahead and try this one on your own. Pause and try. Okay, so it's going to be K-O-R-I, oh, where's my I? I used L. I-A, Korea. So Korea. And this last one, go ahead and try. Okay, I assumed you tried. And it's going to be O-R-E-N-J-I, orange, which is actually derived from Japanese, but it ends up being orange. So Japanese actually say orange for orange, and that's probably where they ended up getting this, but orange, and you just add E, so orange. If you actually wanted to say it like English, it would have to be orange. That would be the most proper sound that we could get out of Korean to be like English, but they still say orange for orange, so whatever. Anyways, so that's going to be very, very, very basics on how to build a word and syllable blocks, things like that. So we'll go over more as time goes on. Let me know if this was too hard for you or if I went too fast or which pieces that you kind of need to go over more so. Obviously, this is tough stuff. This isn't just like you can get it in a day. You need, practice and more examples and stuff like that. So don't feel too depressed if it got kind of difficult. Anyways, all right, that is it for today. Bye.